This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I just wanted to do a quick video. I know I said I probably wasn't going to do any more today, but now we are seeing reports that thousands, if not some places are reporting, hundreds of thousands of people have begun protesting and lining the streets in a lot of cities around the United States of America. Thousands of protesters in New York City and in Chicago have come out in protest of the election, quote unquote, election results from last night, the selection, or early this morning, I should say. We are seeing in Austin, Texas, protesters blocking highways, students burning flags on campuses across America, the campus of American University in Washington being one of them. We have people walking out of school, high school, and colleges across the country. This is according, obviously, to the mainstream media, but you can see pictures, you can see video of these protests going on where people are spray painting, they're vandalizing things, lighting things on fire. We even see Lady Demon, Lady Gaga herself, involved in the protests outside of Trump Tower in New York City. People are chanting, "Not our president," and things along those lines, that they refuse to accept him as the president. So we are seeing a lot of this divide and conquer tactic being used. Obviously, listen, I understand people out there want to believe that this is an act of God and that this man has been selected. I respect your opinion on that 100%. I respect other people's opinions. My channel is my opinion on these views. To be perfectly honest, after the last video I did, I've never seen so many upset and angry people who actually are putting their faith in this man. Put your faith in Jesus Christ alone. Okay, no man is going to turn this around. The only person who's going to save us is Jesus Christ and finding salvation through him. But you can see now how they are dividing people, because I even have people who have been loyal subscribers to the channel and people I would even consider friends who have been saying pretty nasty things. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect me. People get carried away. They don't respect other people's opinions. It's almost like if you're standing at the water cooler with somebody and they say, "Who do you think's going to win?" You say Hillary Clinton. You wouldn't go and go crazy on that guy the next day, okay? I gave my opinion on what I thought was going to happen, but what I'm seeing is like what a lot of you, I guess, were pointing out to me that I didn't see. And I'm not always going to see these things. I do the best that I can. I use my discernment and I use my vision. Maybe I have my blinders on with Trump. Maybe I didn't see it coming. Maybe I played and thought too much of the mainstream. Obviously, what we see with InfoWars and Alex Jones just pushing this, Trump is our savior, propaganda. And again, you're entitled to feel that way. But I'm seeing now Christians become divided over this issue. And instead of just respectfully, listening to other people's decisions, Christians are adamant about this. They are adamant that this guy is going to save the day and he's stopping the New World Order. And listen, I give my opinion on these things, and I am pretty adamant that the New World Order is still in control, that this is part of their plan. And many people today have messaged me saying and pointing out why they felt all along that Trump was the guy. And I look at it now and I say, you know what, you're right. I didn't see a lot of these signs. I should have seen them. But what we're seeing now, in effect, is protests and riots right along the lines of what we saw with the race war that's been going on with these protests. Now, I don't think that, unlike the Black Lives Matters movement, where we're seeing actual, this Black Lives Matters movement being funded by George Soros, and we're seeing these people go out who are paid for it because it's part of their plan and their agenda to get these, an hour after a shooting goes down, to have all these people rioting and running around, all organized. It's completely organized. As far as this goes, to my knowledge right now, I can't tell if this is something that's planned, that they've planned these protests and all of this stuff going on, or if people are really riled up. And I think what has happened with this mind control with Trump that we've seen over the last few months is that people are doing this willingly, that they're going out anti-Trump willingly, fighting against or for Trump being the president of the United States. And they might have just been worked their way, been worked into a psyop, so to speak, where they're doing what the elitists want. They want this panic and this chaos to go on where people are burning the American flag, rioting, everybody's livid, everybody's upset. And this is probably just the beginning of what we're going to see. And, you have to think from the mindset, well, are they behind it? Are they starting these protests? Or did they work everybody up into the psyop so much that they knew they wouldn't even have to control us, that if this was the result that happened, that people would start protesting, rioting, going nuts? Yesterday, I even talked about how these celebrities were claiming that they were going to leave America if Trump was selected president. I mean, we're just seeing a lot of this stuff now coming to the forefront. And this is only, 15 hours after the results were released? We're talking 4 o'clock. Eastern time in the morning, 1 o'clock West Coast last night that the results came out where Hillary conceded the election to Trump. And now we're seeing tonight in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Texas. They're saying in downtown Los Angeles, high school students crowded the steps of City Hall on Wednesday, protesting. They are screaming things like hate won't win. We can't let it stop us. If he's the president, then fine. But if Donald Trump is going to be it, then he has to listen. I understand all of the rumors of things that could potentially happen, whether it's between now and Inauguration Day or after the fact. Obviously, it's only speculation. But I wanted to report on this because this is happening pretty quick. This morning, things were pretty quiet. Maybe that's because people were up late watching this. We saw Obama speak, and Obama talked about how he was meeting with Trump tomorrow and how he was going to help him, transition into being the next president. We've seen Hillary obviously speak nicely of Trump, saying, let's give him a chance. But what we're seeing from the American people is we're seeing a lot of anger, a lot of hate. We're seeing, candlelight vigils are being held. Yes, I repeat, candlelight vigils are being held outside of the White House. Okay, from Hillary Clinton's supporters. Candlelight vigils. That's how worked up these people have gotten into believing this stuff. And it goes on both sides. And a lot of people have been messaging me about this, like I said earlier, as if I'm upset that Trump's in. I'm not upset that Trump's in. I said I was surprised that he's in. I'm surprised that this was their plan. But the amount of people who are Christians, or whether they're quote-unquote truthers or whatever, they're in this community where they listen to a lot of the same channels, are falling into this, and they are 100% believing in what they're seeing. And now we're seeing chaos start to slowly emerge. We're seeing riots. We're seeing other things. Who knows what this could lead to? But this is only one day after the election. Could things die down? Of course they could. Of course, we're seeing the LGBT community come out and protest him as president. We're seeing all of these groups coming out. Like I said, you got Lady Gaga in New York City outside the Trump Towers protesting, getting people riled up. And then you see the other side where you have Trump supporters are going crazy in the streets as well. So it's a very interesting scene what's going on. And I know a lot of you have messaged me talking about this being the thing that would lead to martial law. And my response to that is, we'll see. We'll see. It's all speculation, but we're beginning to see these protests go on. Who knows how far this will go? This just started tonight, this evening, and late this afternoon on the East Coast. But you're seeing people coming out, and we talk about it. I've talked about it. Many other channels have talked about the Black Lives Matters with these protests that they've done, which have been staged and planned protests. What's scary about this, and what concerns me, and I have this feeling in my stomach, is just something just doesn't feel right. And what concerns me about it is the fact that this very well might have nothing to do with them funding it or being behind a movement, because this looks organic. This looks like people got worked up so much into this election, and after seeing what people wrote to me today, people who have been loyal subscribers were pretty much telling me to kill myself, which is a little harsh, don't you think, for having an opinion different than yours? A little bit. Just a little tad psychotic to feel that way. But people have been worked so deep into this psyop, into believing that he is this savior and this hero, and then on the other end that he is this racist and he's going to destroy America and all of this stuff, that they've actually created a massive psyop where people are out doing this willingly. And that could be exactly what they've wanted to go on here, because we're seeing angry citizens in America. We're seeing angry people who are protesting. They're lighting things on fire, doing all sorts of stuff like that, holding up signs that say, "Love Trump's hate." A little ironic, isn't it? A little bit ironic that they're acting this way and chanting things in the streets like "not my president, not today." And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are Christians who are falling into this, thinking that this isn't rigged. And I understand and I respect your opinion. Again, you're allowed to have it. I fully believe that it is rigged. I fully believe that this is part of their plan. And the anger and the hate that they're inciting through this election and what we're seeing go on around the country right now at this moment in time, today, tonight, right now, is people who are angry, who are hostile, who don't want to see Trump in office. And I know that there's talks, a lot of people think of an assassination and all of this stuff, and I'm not going to get into it in this video talking about possibilities and what could be out there. But we're seeing a lot of civil unrest, and obviously order out of chaos is what they're all about. So could these results lead to some type of more than just protesting and riots and things like that? Obviously, it's leading to a ton of division because we're seeing it amongst Christians. Like I said, I'm seeing it with people who subscribe to my channel. It's not a big deal to me. I shake stuff like that off. It's not a huge deal. But I could see the tone and what they're saying and the stuff coming out of their mouths. They're so adamant that this man is going to change everything. And I worry for people who feel that way, that they're falling into the psyop. Again, you're entitled to believe what you want, but just be careful, because we're now seeing the results that clearly you would assume that the elitists want, which is civil unrest, which is division amongst all of us. Seeing Christians turning on Christians. We're seeing people out there with a different opinion than others turning on each other, being hateful over something as ridiculous as this. And people go, well, it's not ridiculous. We're talking about the presidency. Well, for starters, the president doesn't pull the strings at all. We know who pulls the strings. And again, all you have to do, a picture's worth 1,000 words, like they say. All you got to do is look at some of these photos coming out from New York City, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Look how many people have taken the time out of their day. They don't have anything better to do, to be in the streets, just mobbing the streets over this. So again, we'll see where it goes and what it potentially leads to. We'll see if it dies down or not. Obviously, it's very likely it could just die down and die off, or it could continue on. We'll see how it plays out. But I wanted to let everybody know that we're seeing protests going on around the United States of America right now. Again, it's in major cities like New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Also seeing it in Texas and other states. It's being reported that people are flocking to the streets in protest of this selection choice, or I guess in protest of what they think was an elected man in Donald Trump. They are very upset. They are very hostile. And if you ask me, this plays right into the NWO's plans. It plays right into divide and conquer. It plays right into civil unrest. It plays right into us turning on each other over something that they picked, that they determined, yet people don't want to believe that. And if you want to feel that this guy's your savior, go ahead. It's your decision. You're allowed to have your opinion, and you're allowed to feel that way. But don't fall into the trap of believing this, because we're already seeing now bad things starting to happen. Because a nation even more divided than it already was or is supposedly, a nation where these elites have been pushing this race war so hard for so long now that we have this quote-unquote president that they're claiming is racist and all this stuff. Again, just be careful of what you fall into believing here. And I'll monitor this situation. We'll see if it dies off tomorrow or if it's just something that might continue on around the country. But again, folks, I make it as clear as I can. Don't put your faith in man. Don't put your faith in Donald Trump. Don't put your faith in this channel. Don't put your faith in other YouTubers. Don't put your faith in Alex Jones. Don't put your faith in any of these politicians or any of these celebrities. Put your faith and trust in Jesus Christ alone. Okay? That's it. So for the people out there who are putting their faith and trust in this man, realize that's what they want you to do. Keep your faith and your trust in Jesus Christ, not in any man on this planet. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.